Okay.
Good afternoon, sirs. Myself Chanchal. I will be presenting my technology. It is a DAS well, a multi-position well completion technology, and in generally all the reservoirs worldwide are multi-layered. So in here we produce from those layers, putting different separate oils for each layer. So it increases our oil cost. I am doing something to produce from one oil all the layers. So this is my technology, multiple zone oil completion. I'll show how I will be doing that. Actually, the oil industry now facing major problem is poor recovery and the low productivity. Poor recovery in the sense, whatever we discover, I am talking about the conventional oil, whatever we discover, only 35% on an average we can produce. This fact is relevant to all the reservoirs, whether it is Chinese, India or US, everywhere. This is the scenario. 35% only we can recover and 65% will remain underground when at abandonment. And in those 35%, world has already produced 30%. So 5% remaining. This 5% actually the reserve which we talk about that our oil will last 50 years. This figure comes from here. At present consumption, this 5% will supply our 50 years demand. So after that, this 5% will exhaust and we cannot recover all this 65%. So at abandonment, that 65% oil will remain in that reservoir. It is true for all the reservoirs. I am targeting something here. If we can increase our recovery from the 65% or not. There are two things are there. One is mobile portion and one is immobile portion. I am targeting that mobile portion. How I am doing that? As I told you, second problem is low productivity. All the reservoir lives are more than 50 years or 60 years, 70 years, 100 years, some reservoirs. So if we can reduce that by improving the productivity, we can get the same amount of oil at a faster rate and at a reduced life. So what will happen? We can gain enormously in NPV also. Net present value will be huge. So I am targeting to solve all these two problems. At present, what we do, this suppose these are the layers I have colored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. In any field we drill, there will be 2 layers, 3 layers, 7 layers, 10 layers, even somewhere 50 layers we have encountered in some reservoirs. So if we put this separate oil for separate layers, what will happen? On average, this oil cost comes around 10 crores in Indian rupees average. I am telling, somewhere it may be 4 crores, somewhere it may be 40 crores. But average is 10 crores. So putting 6 oils is consuming 60 crores. And my technology now, I will be putting one oil 10 crores and I will be putting some production chamber, which is my innovation, that will help to produce from the 6 layers. So now that 60 crores can be done in say 11 crores maximum. 10 crores is the oil cost and 1 crore additional what equipment I will be putting there. So this is the advantage. So in addition to that, there are some other options through which we can produce from multi-layers. One is the commingling. Commingling in the sense, we put one layer and make passes to the all layers, perforate, and all the layers comes inside. But there is a problem. Some layers having gas, some layers having oil. So we cannot produce both the layers. So in commingling, it is not possible. And some layers may have higher pressure, some layers may have lower pressure. There also what will happen if we produce all this layer commingly, so high pressure layer will produce the low pressure one. It will not come to the surface. So we will lose rather than gain. So commingling is not a good option. Another thing we can do, multiple tubing. We can put a number of tubing, 6 tubing in one well. That provision also tried people earlier, but that will be separated by packers. Packer leaking is a major problem, and lowering 6 tubing in a well, it increases the oil diameters and oil cost also, and 6 tubing cost. So this is also a complex and costly proposition. Another option is there multilaterals, through which what we can do, we have a main oil and we have a branches. We can make it. Drilling technology is very advanced now. We can make some branches for each oil. One oil will come like that, and they can branch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this way, we can efficiently produce from these layers. But what will happen? Recovery. If we produce in this way, recovery goes down actually. In 35% average I told, here we may produce 25% even. It may come down recovery. So this is also not a very good option. And the smart oils. Smart oils is an option, good option, but it is very costly. Even we cannot think to put it in on land oils. Only we can go for offshore oils because their intervention cost is very high. So they can compensate in offshore. So this is also a costly affair. So my technology taking advantage of all these 3 and disadvantage of all these 5 options. This is my technology. Das way. Actually, what I am doing same thing as I have shown the communal production, but here also I am putting all these layers, 4 layers I have shown. These four layers, we perforate all the layers, but we cannot allow this fluid to directly flow to the oil bore. We put a production chamber. This is my innovation to cap this product perforations. So these are the 4 production chamber. We put one after one, and fluid has to flow through this chamber. And in this chamber, I have fitted one non-return valve through which it cannot backflow. It cannot from oil bore. It cannot go to the reservoir. So interlayer cross flow I am arresting, and in this way I am producing oil, gas, all these things. When we produce oil and gas goes up and produced through the annulus, and oil comes down by gravity, and we pump it to the through tubing. This is my technology. Simple. All the complex process I described earlier, it is simplifying here. And the development status, already I have made a lab model and testing also completed. This concept was validated. These are the models I have made in acrylics, and field scale design also completed, and manufacturing last phase 30th April they have, I think everything will be done, and I am expecting to test by 30th May that surface testing, because it is high pressure high temperature equipment. So we will be surface testing first. If some modification required, that will be done by June 30th, and pilot testing we are expecting in a live oil around 30th September. This is IP status. I applied the patent on 3rd April 2010. Patent number is 1124 Mumbai, and PTC status now I have engaged that SK Acharya as patent attorney and patent advisory council from GITCO. This is Gujarat Industrial and Technological Corporation. They are doing as a patent advisory through them, and the status is pending. We are exploring this PTC also and filing in international patent. Market, actually all the companies that supply downhole equipments, they that will be the market. Anything we lower at downhole, multiple zone completion, vertical wells, these are the main markets. The product will have a global market because all the oil and gas fields are multi-layered, and as per this Quick Look Express, 1/3 of our wells will require this type of completion. Offshore fields, without this many fields may become marginal, uneconomic, and all NOCs, IOCs, private parties, these are our customers, And quick look also expressed that this revenue of additional oil that it can generate in the order of 100 trillion US dollar at the rate of 80. That is also they calculated on $80 per barrel, but now it is $120, so it may be 150 trillion dollar. And competition, all the down oil suppliers, there will be competitors, smart oil manufacturers, intelligent oil suppliers, MMCs like Halliburton, Baker Hughes, Lumberger, Weatherford, Oil Dynamics, TM International, they are producing such type of technology, but their technology is much complex and costly than what solution I am giving. So they may be my competitor. Baker Hughes has shown interest on this. They evaluated my paper I presented at China. They evaluated that paper and they came for some negotiation, but it was not materialized. And some risks, whatever this, they will be producing different layers, and different layers will have different pressure regime. So what will be the pressure drawdown, that may be an issue. Installation at 4,000 meter, 3,000 meter installation may be a problem. The durability of the equipment what we are manufacturing and reliability can be an issue. Serviceability also and retrieval. But all these things we have a good team. They are IITians here. They are taking care of all these aspects, and I think we can come out with a very good solution. And here, myself Chanchal, inventor, Dr. P.L. Salinkar, he is the industrial engineer, and all the defense equipment he designs. And HK Industries, they are manufacturing my equipment. Deputy Holdings, Mumbai, they are providing these rubber seals. Dr. A.S. Rao, Director Innovation, he is guiding me. And Mahesh Prabhuji, also CEO MDBI, he is also helping me a lot, and he has only given information about this program. So I could come here. G.P. Karmakar, he is Director of Petroleum University at Ahmedabad. He is a main mentor about the technology. And Dr. U.S. Hajra, he is looking after these safety aspects of this equipment. And Nayan Parikh, I am engaging for my commercialization consultancy. Thank you, sir.
All right, 12, almost 13 minutes.
This $100 trillion of additional oil revenue boggles the mind.
Yeah.
My initial response is, you're a small player in a huge industry. I want as much support and safety net around you. I mean, it kind of boggles the mind. Oh, jeez, where do you start?
Quick look, actually, the report they have given, that benefits of this technology, nobody doubting. All these 19 interviews they are saying, nobody doubting about the benefits. Right. It is a huge requirement of this technology, but many people doubting whether we can achieve it or not, and we are confident that we can achieve it.
Okay, well that's a good point, and you need to address that.
Yeah.
First, I don't know, you want to go out? I'll be, okay, go back to the beginning. You were 13 minutes, yeah.
Yes,
look, go to the next slide. That is good. You might fix the graphics a little bit, but that's about as succinct. You know, only 35% of discovered oil can be recovered, and low productivity. The average field is only 50 years. I don't know that you need to do much more than that, because everybody has a pretty good grasp of what that means.
You're addressing that 65%.
Yeah,
you're addressing. Do you have, just out of curiosity,
I would draw an arrow, big arrow
you have a
pointing to
sense
that.
of what percentage of that 65% you'd be able to recover?
Depending on the field and fluid condition, I am expecting minimum 5% that they have calculated that 100 trillion barrel from that. But I am expecting much more than that.
Okay, because that might be something.
Well, I always thought that when I saw that in your report and in your application, I felt like perhaps instead of saying, I know you want to be conservative, like 5% only, but
Yeah.
I would at least put a range in.
Yes.
Expected range between 4%, and what was the low end?
Actually,
3 or 4%?
I am seeing it is 10% to 15%, but I cannot say it because it is a huge amount. It can.
Well, I'd say-
But you could
So I
say-
am conservative very much.
No. The preliminary estimates say somewhere between 4 and 12% or 4 and 15%.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on each situation.
Because, I mean,
Put a range, put a range.
Yeah, put a range.
Okay,
Put a
sir.
range.
Okay.
And also, just a small thing, that might easily be 2 slides, because with just the 35%, okay, only 35%, and then low productivity, and unrecoverable 65%. And that graph can be just a graph by itself.
Yeah, and what I would do is in the 65%, you could write 65%, inside, and then draw an arrow
Okay.
and say unrecovered,
Unrecoverable.
unrecoverable.
Put a box here.
That's your market. It's your
Yeah.
addressing.
Yeah. That's huge. Okay,
Yeah.
go on. I'm gonna talk about the content in this, but then we got to step back
Yeah.
about that other.
Okay.
You got into, okay, in terms of the time, your discussion of the problems. I understand why you discussed the problems, and it certainly was comprehensive, but for the purpose of this discussion, I think it would be really helpful to condense it
Okay.
and simplify it a little bit to about a minute.
Okay.
Okay, because I agree with you, the real thing that you're going to have to address, and what you said about the quick look is a way you can kind of structure this. You can say that nobody doubts the benefits of this technology. The real question has to be your ability to pull it off. Okay, so structure it that way. So why don't you go to the next?
This is the technology. Core invention is the production chamber, and drive invention is the new
I
process.
think
It is
that
changing
probably
the
works.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you could use better arrows
Yeah.
to show the flow out of those multiple levels.
I will make it class.
And
Yeah.
here's
I have
just
it, I have it.
from just a graphic standpoint, I would use just this and take this information off. Okay, so just this, because then people can focus on this, and then because
I can make it to a smaller.
no, I wouldn't take it, because people are going to try and read that and it interferes. You want them to focus on this,
Okay.
and then the next slide could say the core invention is the production chamber, and the derived is that.
Yeah.
But this information
Yeah.
detracts from doing that, and in this case, I think the graphic will help because it gives people some kind of grasp of, I don't presume to know a lot about it, but at least I can in my head understand it. Okay, what's the next? This one I would suggest to you that you could do a graph rather than a listing,
Okay.
kind of a milestone graph.
That we
Because-
are teaching, no, so idea and
Yeah.
conceptualizing.
Okay.
And so
Yeah. Okay, the patent, again, the information is, what is your patent for? Okay, just simple
product
description.
and process, both. Product,
Okay.
this.
So we have applied for a patent on the product we've applied for a patent on the process. The rest of the information, we don't need.
Okay.
Okay, well, we've applied for a patent on the product, we've applied for a patent on the process. Has the Indian patent issued?
No, pending.
It's pending, okay. The Indian patents are pending. We are in the process of applying for PCT. Say where. That's important.
Yeah.
And obviously it should be worldwide. And that's all. And then you say, who owns it? Do you own it? Do you own the patents?
Yeah, it is in my name.
Okay, so then say that. Okay, that's all the information you need on IP status. Okay, next. Yeah, I mean, how do you, what is NOC and what is IOC?
National Oil Companies.
Okay, again,
International Oil
the
Companies.
panel, I figured that's what it was, but, boy, how can we, I mean, that's good information, I'm not questioning it, it's.
Do you have any,
The scope of this, my
any local, any Mumbai area or Indian oil companies interested in?
This,
implementing?
I visited one small company, and that MD, he told you put my next well. And
Put it
I
in
told
it.
no, it is on concept now, it is not ready. So you make it ready, I will pay you.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Who is Alan Ramirez of Jones Energy?
LNM is he
That's
is
in
from
the
Quick
US.
Loop
Hmm?
Space.
Let's have a quick look.
I know, but
It's a
all
smaller
I'm,
company.
all I'm saying is, I don't know, you know, I don't know the panel who will understand who Alan Ramirez of Jones Energy
Okay.
is. So if you're going to say that, you got to give some kind of credibility to the person. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, he is president of this company.
Downhole oil and gas multiple zone, that's anybody who does, I think there's probably a little quantification that might help there, a little more detail. That figure of 100 trillion is, I don't know if you start out with it or, I mean, I can see you start out with this. Currently, oil fields are 60%, you know, 65% of all oil fields are unrecoverable.
Yeah.
We have a technology that can unlock as much of $150 trillion new revenue.
How's that for How about this? Yeah.
I don't know that anybody can.
Yeah. Well, that's what he's proposing.
Yeah, you might think of that. I'm quite. Just go on, and then let me come back as a general thing. Go on to the next slide. All downhole. Yeah, small well, intelligent well. Now, quite frankly, especially the MNCs, not only are they competitors, but boy, there'd be potential. They'd either like to squash you or buy you.
That is there.
They'd probably first like to squash you.
Bless you. That's, you're messing our party up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, they want to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
It's not that, I mean, they want to get it under the most favorable terms possible, if they can squash. I mean, you might think of getting bodyguards.
Yeah.
I also
Okay.
feel so.
Let me tell you, I talked to one company, and I know that there's obviously a lot of skepticism right now, and they want to actually see it. They want to see a piece of equipment. They want to see what it looks like. They want to get a piece of equipment over in the U.S. somewhere to be able to see it. And if they saw it and better understood it, they'd be willing to do a test well with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
If
too early, they won't
drive
do
is with
anything
me, if
until
you
then.
want to see, I can show you.
No, not me. Okay,
Okay.
next one.
These are the
Okay,
issues. Yeah.
okay.
This is any download tool
Okay.
will have these
Well,
issues common.
that is a good list, and it's an important list. I think you're going to need to say something more than just, my team tells me that we can overcome this.
Yeah.
See, because, remember what I said, the higher your claims, the higher level of skepticism,
Okay.
okay? And the skepticism is, I want to understand this technology, because if it's, I mean, why is it that all of these MNCs and all of the IOCs and the NOCs who spend billions of dollars, multiple billions of dollars in research, why have they never come up with something like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so the level of skepticism is.
Yeah, why have you,
No,
how have
actually,
you,
Yeah, why do you think you've come up with it and they haven't?
you've outsmarted all those other guys?
Why do you think you've been able to come up with it and they haven't?
Actually, the thinking itself, everybody using packer. They are what they are thinking. They are layering packer with tubing and setting with the wall. I am reversing that. I am putting that packers beforehand to the well of the casing, and then putting the tubing. So this is.
Well, I guess there's another question that I have to ask. Is if you're thinking about it differently like that,
Yeah.
how easy or difficult, once people understand that you've switched your way of thinking, how easy or difficult would it be for
It
somebody
is
else?
very difficult. Initially, I spent at least 3 years how to achieve that. And initially, it was looking just like an impossible thing.
Okay.
But after 3 years, I got some clue, and then it is becoming
Okay.
easier day by day.
Okay, let me go to the slides quickly, and then I've got some just general, okay. Team status, okay, teams, so anyways, go back one, go back to that. The risk and barrier, I think you're gonna need to say more than just my team thinks that it can overcome them.
Actually, I want to say, but actually time also matters.
No, but,
Okay.
you know, if you spend a lot less time in the technology and a lot, I mean,
Okay.
this is where the skepticism is gonna be.
Okay.
Yeah. Initial thing is, I don't believe it. Then is, why have you come up with it and nobody else has come up with it? And then, you're a small guy, we don't know that you can actually pull this off. Okay, so anyways, the next one, that's a list of people. You really need to give me some sense of what their experience is to be able to help you on this.
Okay.
Good. Okay, now I'm going to give you a general thought. I mean, the potential is mind-blowing. What you said and what you saw from the quick look is a high degree of skepticism, not about the benefits, but about that you can actually pull it off. And it's that you can actually pull it off from a technological point of view, coming up with the product, and then actually getting it to market. So you're going to have to be aware, you're going to have to speak to that skepticism. You're playing in a very big arena now. You're one tiny person playing in Halliburton, Schlumberger, you went through that list,
Yeah.
okay? I'm only facetiously talking about getting a bodyguard because I know, I knew a guy who came up with a environmental remediation, a way of cleaning, he was a cogenerator, he had a cogeneration plant. And he came up with some environmental remediation that cleaned up the air, the effluent, and so it was much cleaner, it was much cleaner going out than the ambient air. And according to the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, if that was certified, every new technology, because he was able to change the standard so much, every new technology would have to meet his standards. And he got death threats.
Yeah.
So, I'm only facetiously saying, you're playing now in an arena where there's a humongous amount of money at stake. So my point to you is, you need to be very careful. You need to get as credible a team around you of advisors, I mean really big hitters, because you're playing in a very, this is a big arena. This is more than the major league. This is more than the IPL. So, in terms of what you've got here, it takes my breath away.
Yeah.
And I wish you good luck.
Thank you, sir.
I also, it's exciting. Just be careful and know that you're playing with really big hitters, and be careful about who your advisors are. Make sure that you really can trust them. And you want to get people who are trustworthy and really understand how to play in this arena. So.
This I realized, because this benefits everybody understand benefits, but nobody encouraging me. I talk to Chanchal, I talk to Baker Hughes, many people, and my paper I presented in 2010 after filing this patent. I presented at China at International Petroleum Conference, and there are also many companies, but nobody is showing direct interest.
Oh, I'm sure they're not.
No.
And I'm sure they're all looking at your paper and trying to figure it out.
Paper within these few days, actually it has downloaded 300 times.
Yeah.
This is a very specific thing.
He gave a paper presentation in China at the big conference last year. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Okay. They're not rushing to you because they're trying to figure out whether they can do it themselves.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Definitely.
But that I am not fearing much, because if I can start this, I have a total system knowledge, and I know that how to benefit from the total system. That may not be simply copying this product. Yeah.
I understand that, and I'm just telling you what to be aware of. It doesn't surprise me that they haven't expressed a great deal of interest, because their first inclination will be can we figure it out ourselves? And maybe their second inclination is, how can we get it and get him out of the way? Okay, it's only after they convince themselves that you have knowledge, you have something that they can't get otherwise, and they can't otherwise neutralize you, that they'll finally very reluctantly sit down with you. So,
that's right. I mean, your best opportunity, I think, is going to be find a company that you could engage with to try it out and get some trial experience, validate it, and possibly consider letting that company and you share in the licensing of the
I am
technology.
planning to start my own, not licensing.
you're planning to what?
Start my own business.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, but just understand the arena you're playing.